Hello guys, today we are recreating a shot from one of my favorite films, Birdman. Surrealism is a recurring theme in this film, as our protagonist constantly goes through scenes where we question what's real and what isn't. So let me break down the different elements in this shot. First, we have the protagonist floating in midair. He is framed by a rectangular window. On the right side of the frame is a green sofa that has some clothing on it. And on the left side of the frame, we have a shelf and also some clothing hanging on the wall. But I'm not a VFX expert, so I'm not entirely sure how they made this happen in the film. So I came up with two potential ways to try and recreate this. Let's take a look at what we did. Even though the location didn't quite fully match the original shot, we had to make it work since we didn't have enough budget to rent multiple locations for each shot. While we were setting up the camera, Joseph brought in the props and the furniture and tried to arrange them in a way that would match the original look. Since the room we were filming in was full of white walls, we placed a 12 by 12 piece of black cloth behind us so that we could prevent the light from bouncing around as much. We started out with our first plan, which was to place our actor on top of a shelf that we covered with green cloth. However, the location was still giving us some difficulties because we couldn't place the camera far back enough to get the right frame. So we took it off the tripod and tried to place it on the counter. So we brought in a rice bag that we put under the camera. This epitomizes the low budget mentality, so that we could really fix it in place and that it would remain static. This was very important because if the camera angle shifted, we wouldn't be able to layer the two shots in post. To light the shot, I used a Forza 500 through a small frame of diffusion that we placed outside the window at a high enough level so that we wouldn't see it in the shot. Because I don't want to see the window look white, I want to see the trees outside, but I also want to see a light hitting him and creating a glow. We also used the mix panel pointed at the ceiling to add overall ambient light to the room. And then we added a Pablo tube, being careful not to cast any shadows to bring up the levels of the green so that we could key it out in post. Once the lights were set, we rolled the cameras for about 15 seconds with our talent sitting on top of that shelf with the green screen cloth. After that, we removed both the talent and the shelf from the shot, and we got a clean plate of the background so that we could layer that in post. At this point, we were ready to move to our second plan, so we brought in a green screen that we placed in the living room. To light it up, we placed two Pablo tubes on either side of the screen. And to try and match the lighting from our previous shot, we brought in a Forza 300 and placed the light through a small frame of diffusion that we partially flagged off to cut off the light from the back of the actor. We also kept the mix panel that we were using from before. And once again, we used the Pablo tube to light up the green shelf under our actor so that it would be easier for us to key out in post. So we did a few things to make sure that our frame would match as close as possible. We measured the distance from the actor to the camera, and then once we put him in the green screen area, we placed him the same distance from the camera as before. So if you see our current frame and the original, you can tell that we're matching pretty closely. Let's take a look at the final result. In the end, we decided to use the second method because having the actor in front of a green screen made it easier for us to isolate him from the background, which meant we could add a little bit of movement to him so that it seemed like he was floating in midair. Let us know in the comments how you guys would have done it. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the Nanlite channel, leave us a like, and may the Forza be with you.